The truth about coding. Can anyone really become a programmer? Most people believe coding is the golden ticket to success. But the reality is, a huge number of beginners quit before they ever write anything meaningful. So why does this happen? The idea of becoming a programmer has never been more popular or more confusing. Everywhere you look, you see people saying, "Learn to code, and you can change your life." Social media is full of success stories. Someone learns programming in a few months, lands a high-paying job, and achieves financial freedom. At the same time, you also hear the opposite. Coding is too hard, too competitive, and being replaced by AI. So what is the truth? Can anyone really become a programmer? Or is this just another internet myth? The honest answer lies somewhere in between. Yes, almost anyone can learn coding, but not everyone will become a professional programmer. And understanding that difference is the key to seeing the reality clearly. To begin with, coding is no longer a rare or inaccessible skill. In the past, programming required expensive education, specialized knowledge, and access to limited resources. Today, that barrier has almost disappeared. The internet has made learning to code widely accessible through free tutorials, online courses, and interactive platforms. In fact, many developers today are self-taught, proving that a traditional degree is not necessary. Employers increasingly care more about your skills and projects than your formal education. This accessibility has created the impression that anyone can easily become a programmer. And in one sense, that is true, because learning the basics of coding is achievable for most people. You can learn how to write simple programs, build websites, or automate small tasks within a few months if you stay consistent. Programming languages like Python and JavaScript are designed to be beginner-friendly, making it easier than ever to get started. However, learning the basics is very different from becoming a professional programmer. Coding is not just about writing syntax, it is about solving problems, thinking logically, and building systems. This is where many beginners struggle. Programming requires a way of thinking that is unfamiliar to most people at first. It involves breaking down complex problems into smaller steps, understanding how systems interact, and constantly debugging errors. Interestingly, research shows that programming ability is not purely based on intelligence or education level. Factors like curiosity, persistence, and willingness to learn play a much bigger role. In fact, studies suggest that eagerness to learn and self-perception are strong indicators of programming success, sometimes more than formal experience. This means that while not everyone starts at the same level, the ability to improve is available to anyone willing to put in the effort. One of the biggest misconceptions about coding is that it is purely technical. In reality, coding is deeply connected to human skills like creativity, communication, and problem solving. Modern programming is less about memorizing syntax and more about building meaningful solutions. As education experts highlight, coding today is about creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking, not just writing code. This shift is especially important in 2026, where artificial intelligence is transforming how programming works. AI tools can now generate code, suggest solutions, and even build simple applications. This has led to the belief that coding might become obsolete. However, the reality is more complex. AI is lowering the barrier to entry, making it easier for beginners to start coding. Some industry leaders even suggest that AI is enabling more people than ever to participate in software development. But at the same time, it is raising the standard for what it means to be a programmer. In other words, AI is not replacing programmers. It is changing what programmers need to know. Basic coding tasks may become easier, but higher-level skills like system design, debugging, and critical thinking are becoming more important. Research also shows that AI-generated code can contain errors and security issues, meaning human oversight is still essential. This reinforces the idea that programming is not just about writing code, it is about understanding it. Another important factor to consider is the job market. While demand for software developers remains strong, the nature of programming jobs is changing. According to labor data, software development roles are expected to grow significantly, showing that coding skills are still valuable. However, traditional computer programmer roles are declining, indicating a shift toward more advanced and specialized positions. This means that simply knowing how to code is no longer enough. To succeed in programming, you need to combine coding with other skills, such as problem solving, system thinking, and domain knowledge. The days of writing simple scripts as a full-time job are fading. Instead, programmers are expected to build complex systems, work with data, and collaborate with teams. So, can anyone become a programmer? The answer depends on how you define programmer. If you mean learning to code, then yes, almost anyone can do it. With the right resources, consistency, and mindset, you can learn the basics and build projects. Coding is not reserved for geniuses or math experts.
It is a skill that can be learned like any other. But if you mean becoming a professional programmer, the answer is more nuanced. It requires dedication, continuous learning, and the ability to handle challenges. Many people start learning coding but give up when they encounter difficulties. Programming can be frustrating, especially in the beginning. Errors, bugs, and confusing concepts are part of the process.
Success comes to those who are willing to push through these challenges. Another important truth is that everyone learns at a different pace. Some people pick up coding quickly, while others take more time. This does not mean one person is smarter than the other. It simply reflects different learning styles and experiences. What matters is consistency. Even spending a few hours a day practicing can lead to significant progress over time. It is also worth noting that programming is not for everyone, and that is okay. Some people may find that they do not enjoy coding, and forcing yourself to pursue a career you do not enjoy is not a good strategy. The goal should not be to become a programmer just because it is popular, but to find a path that aligns with your interests and strengths. At the same time, many people underestimate their ability to learn coding. They assume it is too difficult or that they are not technical enough. This mindset often becomes a barrier. In reality, programming is more about persistence than natural talent. Anyone who is willing to practice, learn from mistakes, and stay consistent can make progress. Another factor that influences success is how you approach learning. Passive learning, watching tutorials without practicing, rarely leads to real progress. Active learning, where you build projects and solve problems, is far more effective. Creating your own projects, even simple ones, helps you understand concepts and gain confidence. The role of community and support should not be overlooked either. Learning to code can feel isolating, especially when you are stuck on a problem. Joining communities, forums, or study groups can provide motivation, guidance, and encouragement. Many successful programmers credit their growth to collaboration and shared learning. The evolution of programming tools is also making coding more accessible. No-code and low-code platforms allow people to build applications without writing complex code. AI tools can assist with coding, making it easier for beginners to get started. These developments are expanding the definition of programming, allowing more people to participate in the tech world. However, these tools also highlight an important point. Accessibility does not equal mastery. While it is easier to start coding, becoming truly skilled still requires effort and understanding. The tools can help you move faster, but they cannot replace the need for learning. Another interesting perspective is that coding is becoming less about the code itself and more about thinking. The ability to understand problems, design solutions, and work with systems is what defines a programmer in 2026. Coding is simply the tool used to express those ideas. So, the real question is not can anyone become a programmer, but are you willing to do what it takes to become one? Because the path is clear, learn the basics, practice consistently, build projects, solve problems, keep improving. There is no shortcut, but there is also no barrier that cannot be overcome with effort. In conclusion, the truth about coding is both encouraging and realistic. Yes, anyone can learn to code. The resources, tools, and opportunities are more accessible than ever before. But becoming a professional programmer requires more than just learning syntax. It requires persistence, problem solving, and continuous growth. Coding is not just a skill, it is a way of thinking. And like any skill, it rewards those who are willing to invest time and effort. So, if you are asking whether you can become a programmer, the answer is simple. You can. If you are willing to stay consistent, embrace challenges, and keep learning. And that is the real truth. If you want honest, no-nonsense insights about coding and tech careers that actually help you move forward, hit subscribe and stay with me, because the next videos might change how you see your future.